What's going on, everybody? Billy here from Mad Max again, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. This right here is my PRS gun, my 6x47 Lapua Remington 700 in the Graybo stock. I did a video on my whole PRS loadout a couple weeks ago. Go check that out if you got any questions on it, but I wanted to bring it to like the present day with the stock instead of just putting it in a chassis. And I got myself an Area 419 Arca Rail, so we can just, you know, pop things on like this game changer or rail changer, whatever they call this. Yeah, the rail changer bag, which is pretty much a game changer on an Arca Rail. And then I got an Arca clamp that we're gonna put the Atlas bipod on, so I can be like interchangeable with this guy right here, which we're going to talk about in the future. Be on the lookout for that, but this is something I'm really excited about. But I want to have parts compatibility between the two, even that they're like two totally different setups, if that makes sense. But I haven't opened this at all. It seems like it's going to be a pretty straightforward thing, so let's get into it. But before we start, make sure you're following me on Instagram at MadMaxGuns. If you feel like supporting me a little bit more, you can check out my Patreon, patreon.com/MadMaxGuns. But let's get into this. Look at the phone. Got the rail here and all the mounting hardware. Absolutely, instructional video. It's in here. I'm gonna get all this stuff set up and put together, and I'll be back in a minute. Alright, so here we are a few days later. I ran into some complications, mostly stupid mistakes on my part, but essentially what I ended up having to do was, well, having is a loose term because I could have went way easier than I did it, but I wanted to add another T-pillar in here, or T-bolt in there, just to get more stability. But you could have just went straight into the pillars that are in there for the sling mounts, or the sling swivels, whatever you want to call it, and the action screw right here. I'll get into the action screw in a bit because that was probably the biggest pain that I got into. But 3/4 inch paddle bit, drilling into the stock. You gotta go down, pretty much install it without those in, mark where you need to go. I should have went through with like an awl or something to mark a precise point, and then did a pilot hole with it, did a paddle bit, and then drilled the hole that it needed to go down for the actual bolt to fit in, because with the T-bolt, it's like a circle that needs to be set in, and then the actual part that the screw goes into needs to be set in there as well. So you need to do the paddle bit and then the bigger normal drill bit in there, and then hammer it in. The first one I put in was pretty much on center, so it was usable. It was a little off, so I had to do some, I guess, machine work on the rail itself down here to move it so I could fit the hole in there. Not a big deal. Luckily I had the tools to do it, but if I just measured 4 times and then drilled once, I would have been in a better position. The one right here is pretty much a lost cause. I would have to pull the whole thing out again and redo it, but it's really not that important to have 5 points of fastening, I guess you could say, in there. And then the action screw. It's going to need to be a little longer than the action screw that you have in there now. So it comes with a supplied action screw. I cut it too short the first time. I took some other action screws I had, cut it too short, and then I ended up going on Amazon and just buying a bunch of that size screw, which is a 1/4 by 28, and then I got like 1.5 inch screws, and you got to take off maybe like 1/3 of an inch, and then it fit in there perfectly. I just finished it up now, fastened everything down. The way I would suggest doing the action screw part is cutting it or grinding it down, whichever way you want to, in small increments, and then putting it in, make sure the bolt closes. If the bolt doesn't close, take off a little bit more. Try it again, keep trying it again. You can go in there and see where it's going to be smooth, but you just take off a little bit at a time, and then eventually you'll get there. The reason I went ahead and got an Arca Rail to put on this is because I want everything to be compatible between these two guns. This is my new 6 GT. I'm going to do a full video on that pretty soon. And I've pretty much got all the loads locked in for it. It's all broken in. I got like 500 rounds, 420 rounds through it right now. But I wanted, since it's a ACC chassis by MDT, has a Arca Rail in there already. I wanted just to be able to go back and forth between these two guns with the bipods. So, heyo, bipods that are quick release. Got a Atlas and a Harris, depending on what kind of position I'm shooting. Depending on what kind of position I'm shooting, one would be better than the other. And then I got me a Area 419 rail changer here, which is pretty much a game changer bag that has a Arca Rail attachment, and this is removable. It's in there pretty good right now, but it is removable, so you could use this just as a bag by itself. It doesn't have like a regular, it doesn't have like a leather top like my Weebad Fortune Cookie does. I'm probably gonna get a separate game changer, like a medium or something like that, that I can use without this. But if you put it on there, extra weight when you're shooting in like a not normal position, say on a tank trap or something, and you can fit this to exactly where your balance point is on the gun, which is pretty convenient. But that's essentially why I put the Arca Rail on there. I'm pretty hyped about it. It has the Arca lock on here, which the Area 419 doesn't, so I had to remove all the pillars in the Area 419 Arca lock kits. There's these little pillars. It's pretty neat that you can put them in there and it sets in there nice, but I don't think it's necessary unless you don't want to like lock this in tight. That is the only I don't know, downside to removing the pillars. But being that I'm going to be shooting the GT more often, than this is probably going to be like a practice gun, just because I like the chassis better, to be honest. But this is that is pretty much why I put the Arca Rail on there and how I did it. It is definitely going to be convenient, and I would suggest doing it if you're running a composite stock. It makes everything, my favorite word is modular apparently, and makes everything modular, like accessory wise. It's good to have, especially once I get a new tripod that has Arca lock on top, so you can pop it in there, lock it in, and shoot a whole lot more stable. So that's where I'm at on this. That's the only thing that's really changed. Be on the lookout for my 6 GT video. It's going to be coming up soon. I'm really excited about this build, and it is a little spoiler alert. I say that a lot too. People are curious if the GT is going to be like a gimmicky round for PRS. I'm pretty sure it's here to stay. It fills the gaps between the BRs and the by 47 Lapuas and like the Creedmoor class, and it's super easy to load for, feeds from mag right, and it pretty much corrects everything that was wrong with the Dasher. But I'm gonna go real deep into that in an upcoming video. And then another video to be looking out for pretty soon is gonna be on my 308 chassis gun Tika build that I'm treating as like a trainer rifle, just because 308 is a lot cheaper to load for right now for me than this stuff, and I'm not too worried about losing the brass for this. But thanks for watching, guys. Sorry I haven't been putting out a lot of videos, just life is getting kind of crazy right now, for the better, I would say. And make sure you check out my Instagram, make sure you check out my Patreon if you want to support me a little bit more. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you got any questions, drop in the comments, send me a DM. If you didn't like the video, as always, eat a dick, and I will see you next time. Peace.